Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Annalisa and this is my last Inktober video. It is a bit of a relief that Inktober is over, although I have to say I've had a pretty great time. I've enjoyed making these videos and I really enjoyed doing these art pieces. I've tried a lot of new things and I've learned a lot about some new mediums, and I've generally drawn a lot of dragons which I was nervous about before and have gotten to enjoy doing in this simple style so that I don't feel I have to do this crazy huge detailed realistic piece, and I can just draw a nice cute little dragon, which is what I did for the prompt Dizzy. I decided to do a little baby dragon who has maybe bonked her little head, and so she is dizzy. She sat back on her haunches to collect herself, and she's just a cute little thing, all pink with blue eyes, and I had a lot of fun drawing her and I'm really happy with how she turned out. Now I want to draw a bunch of baby dragon. This was also me trying out really stark shadows, which I don't usually do, and I didn't like how it looked when it was just ink, but once I added the line art, the shadows actually looked like shadows and not just weird lines, so I'm quite happy with how that experiment worked out as well. And then I did my standard adding little shiny bits with some gel pens. I tried really hard to get the highlights in her eyes to show up, but for some reason, I think because I put on the white gel pen too soon after I'd used the microns, the white sort of picks up the black and blends in, and then you have kind of a grayish color. Then I added on the little circles around her head to make her look dizzy, and I think she turned out pretty cute. Next was the prompt Tasty, and for that I decided to go nice and simple and have a cake, and I would have fire going on the candles that it's like there's a dragon off screen or off the canvas that is blowing on these candles, and I decided for the theme of the cake it would be an ace cake, like my little dragon a while ago was a ace dragon, so it's got the purple, gray, and black and white of the asexual flag. And I went after this one with gel pens instead of alcohol markers because it was quite a small area and I didn't need the colors to be super vibrant. Also, I wanted to try out some more of my gel pens and see what kind of colors I could get, and I really liked them. I think the fire turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to for a while there. I didn't really like how the yellow was mixing with the oranges, but once I added the red to the edges, I think it helped a lot. The next prompt was dark, I believe, and for that one I decided to draw Star of Elendil, which is the little vial flask that Galadriel gives to Frodo, and she says, "May it be a light for you when all other lights go out." And of course Sam uses it in the dark when Shelob is coming after him and Frodo, and it shines quite brightly. And as I was looking up a reference for this, I found the information that it is the sister stone to Arwen's Even Star necklace, which of course makes sense, and I had known at one point but I had forgotten, so I was very happy to have drawn both of these for Inktober. Little Tolkien nerd me was very happy about that, and I decided to use stippling to make it dark around it, and I just did a fairly small circle of darkness around it, which turned out to look kind of like an avocado from far away, but I wanted to use some more stippling, but I didn't want to draw so many dots that it would take to make a more reasonable shape around there. So that's how it turned out. Then for the prompt coat, I did one of my OCs, an elf who really enjoys trench coats, and so I just did her being happy in her coat. And it was very simple and not very good, but I was a little time crunched, so that's what I went with. Then we have a ride, for which I decided to do a unicorn, just a simple unicorn, no one actually riding on it, but a unicorn is what my some of my main characters get to ride at times, and I just love unicorns. And this particular coloring is based off a little unicorn doll that I had when I was a kid. Then we have the prompt injured, and for that one I went with a healing potion because what do you take when you're injured? A healing potion, of course. And I decided to make mine red because in a lot of games, and particularly in one that I played as a kid and that got me interested in potions in the first place, all the healing potions were red. If you follow this channel for a while, you may know that I'm super hyped about potions. I just love them, and so I love to draw them when I get any kind of excuse. And I did a little tip-to-tip stuff to try to get a medium yellowy brown because I only have a very dark brown to make the cork, and then I put some shine and sparkles on it because it's magical. Then for a catch, I decided to be a little silly and have a net that someone had used to catch a dragon egg, which is an unhatched dragon egg, but they feel very accomplished for having caught it in their net. And to kind of contrast with the sort of magma dragon egg I drew earlier in Inktober, I decided to do sort of an ice gem dragon egg, so you can see me doing lots and lots of shading with my various blue tones of my alcohol markers. And I tried to get it to blend down to being fairly seamless, and the darker blues, the medium blues, ended up fairly kind of seamless with the lightest blue I used for the background, but the dark blue just kind of got the edges blurred, so I don't know what I'm doing. But I feel like I explored a lot with my markers during this when I kind of figured out some more about how blending works, so I was glad of that. Then you can see me doing a very, very bad job of outlining. For some reason I struggle with outlining things. I can't follow along where I've colored. I just have the trouble, so I have to thicken up the line so it looks like I didn't mess up. And I decided to have the net just be some simple line art with a very light cross hatching, and I could have used a smaller micron pen for this, but I found out that when I tip my 0.5 or 0.05 on its side, it actually makes a thin line just like you would get if you used 0.01 like regularly. So that was really interesting. And then for the last day of Inktober, which of course was ripe, I decided to go kind of Halloween-y, and I did a skull caramel apple because, you know, sometimes at carnivals and what are they called, Halloween fair type things, they do caramel apples, and I love caramel apples. I'm not a big fan of caramel all the time, but I love it on an apple, and I thought that it would be really fun to do a creepy apple that had sort of a monstrous theme going on. And I also took it as a challenge to figure out how to do sort of a stripy red apple that has all those sort of realistic little yellowish lines on it. And so I tried to do that as well as I could with my markers, and I think it turned out pretty good. I got a bunch of different shades of red and yellow and orange into the apple, and so I was very happy with that. And I also feel like the skull part turned out nice and creepy, so I'm very happy. So thank you so much for watching. I would love to know how your Inktober has been going. I have been watching a lot of Inktober videos, so I might already know about that. But if you haven't seen me over on your channel during Inktober and you've been doing some stuff for that, leave a comment, tell me in the comments below, and I would love to see what you've been making. And so these are my finished pieces. Some of them I did a couple of little details after I finished the speed paint, so you can see some of those here. But these are the final pieces. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!